Good afternoon. Today is March 17, 2018. I am surrounded at Unno News Network with Sonada-san, Tochokura-san, Kimoto-san, Unno-san, and Tagai-san from Vietnam. Today we are discussing new technology, but with a significant risk that we're willing to accept, Kimoto-san is going to ask a question. When he did this last week, we spent the entire time talking about the question. So let's see what question he has for us today.
Okay.
How about microphones?
It's working.
Hello, Edo-san. Today I would like to give you the one question about Netherlands.
Right.
Please remember 2011 and 11th March. That was a very big earthquake in East Japan. That occasion, many embassy in Tokyo staff gone to the to Osaka and Kyoto. They escaped to Tokyo, but there's a Dutch embassy. They stayed in Tokyo that occasion. What kind of philosophy do they keep the stay in Tokyo?
Right. Okay. That's a very good question. So this was when the term flyjin was invented. I think you have gaijin and flyjin.
Yeah.
And, the French were already in Osaka before the earthquake happened. I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of typical. It's,
Yes.
I think that what is the philosophy for the Dutch to stay in Tokyo? I also stayed in Tokyo. The reason was that actually only the foreigners were flying the country. I think that if you are a guest somewhere, you're being hosted in good times. We have an expression in Dutch. It says "door dik en dun." Door dik en dun means in good times and in bad times. So if you're going to be somewhere, and we have been here for 400 years, through good times and through bad times, I don't think it's in our nature to say, okay, the time get rough, so we get out. We are not here only for the good times. We are here as partners. So not necessarily. So basically, I don't think it even came up. Well, of course, it has been discussed. What are the risks, etc. But everybody else was here. Very few people were actually moving out of Tokyo if they were Japanese. And given the news as it was, we were not under direct threat. So. I believe that the Dutch have been here longer, and I think I believe that we are committed to the relationship with Japan, and therefore we didn't go. I think that was the reason. I think
Netherlands also has a big disaster in their country.
In 1953, right? I think, 1953?
Big flood.
Yeah. In February 1st, 1953, it was in Zealand. My mother was living in Zealand then.
Wow.
But she was not, and nor was her family. It was hit by this, but it was a giant flood. Many people died, and it was the start of the big irrigation infrastructure, the dikes and the complete infrastructure that would protect the delta, the country in the Netherlands. So it led to big innovation and a huge improvement of our infrastructural works, which probably also contributed to our economic well-being and rebuilding the nation. I mean, it was only 8 years after World War II, so we were still in the reconstruction phase, and that was the start of a plan. So perhaps that was part of the solidarity, but I think in general, Dutch people are less tied to their own soil than many other countries. I think there is for example, comparing to France, people are more connected to their home country, to La France as the mother nation, and having a kind of like a very perspective, an outward-looking perspective, but from your own base, where being a trading nation, you go where the opportunities are. Netherlands is a small country. I think there are quite many of us that are not really tied to their own country. We don't really crave to eat our own food when we're overseas. We don't really crave to be surrounded by Dutch people when we're overseas. I think it's more, has become part of our DNA of centuries and centuries and centuries being overseas. Maybe that explains it. Okay. Maybe that explains it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All
right.
Finished?
Finished. Okay.
Main dish.
Okay, so actually, let's move to the presentation. Actually, this is a part of a presentation that we started last Monday. Last months, actually, almost half a year, we have been looking at globalization and the future of Japan, and we have been talking about demographic developments in Japan and the way forward. How can we globalize? So part of the positive outlook for Japan, so basically we can keep our incomes stable, is based on the belief that technology will bring us a huge increase in productivity, and therefore Japan doesn't have to worry too much about the future because technology will bring it. But technology is very untransparent. We can see already the beginning of a new industrial revolution, but what benefits will it actually bring us? How capable are we of redistributing the benefits of this new technology to benefit the entire society? And what will it mean for the relationships of the individual with the state, for the state with the international community? It will have a huge impact. So basically, from the perspective of the technological development, in this series we're going to see, okay, what is this new technology? What will be its impact? And what will be the impact of that technology on society as a whole? We started off lightly to look at a few of these developments of the technology that seems to become important. I want to really emphasize that these are the things that we already see coming, but there is always, throughout history, there is a lot of technology that we maybe did not see coming. Like, for example, the first airplane was something that was already widely publicized before it even existed. So that was technology that we already saw coming. The same as we see IoT, electric vehicles, the driverless vehicles, we can see that coming. But there's a lot of technology that was very fundamental and groundbreaking we didn't see coming. The X-rays and the technologies like that comes to mind. So this is the technology that we can already see coming, but there might be technology that we haven't foreseen and that might have a big impact on our society in the near future. We looked at the autonomous vehicle and we discussed, okay, what is the impact of the autonomous vehicle on the way that we are not only we're getting from A to B, but also the way that society is going to deal with cars and mobility. One of the discussions that we had was that basically it will not only mean that we can use vehicles in a much safer way, but it also means that with the sharing economy, tied to the sharing economy, it will probably change the way that we look at car ownership. And basically, it is very likely that the autonomous vehicle will make car ownership less and less obvious, and cars will be there as a service. Basically, if you go from A to B, for example, within Tokyo, there will be small cars going around Tokyo that you can probably call up in your app, just like Uber now, but then without a driver. Then you define where you want to go, and with how many people you want to be there, and then the most suitable car will come to your place. But if you, for example, want to go from here to Nagano, a different kind of car will be arranged for you. So there will be different kinds of cars, probably electric, probably without drivers, and much fewer people will own cars. So this will have a big impact on the car industry. This will have a big impact on drivers. It will not only be cars; it will also be trucks. For example, truck drivers will be might be looking for a job pretty soon, because if we can do it with cars, why can't we do it with trucks? And the technology enables us. If you look at driverless vehicles, IoT, we can basically move almost anything, control any object almost anywhere once we are fully connected.